Hello everyone, my name is History Nuggets, and today I am creating my first History Tender video, featuring a longer, less one-topic focused video. Today, I am beginning my first Iceberg video, with the Ohio Iceberg, my home state. To make it brief, an iceberg video is a video featuring common topics on top, and the more I talk, the lesser known stuff is discussed. The iceberg I am using today was created by me. However, I did not create an image for it since I kinda just wrote it down in my document. To begin the top of the iceberg, we're talking about the Ohio statehood. Ohio became the 17th state to join the Union on March 1st, 1803. They joined with the process of the Northwest Ordinance, which established the Northwest Territory, eventually the Enabling Act of 1802, which saw the territory of Ohio. Congress would approve this on February 19th, 1803, and Thomas Jefferson founded the state of Ohio. The capital of Ohio. The capital city of Ohio is Columbus, becoming the state capital in 1816 due to its central location. Columbus is now the largest city in Ohio and is a major cultural, economic, and political center. The Ohio River. The Ohio River is a major waterway in the USA, bordering Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois. Its beginnings in the Allegheny in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and flows into the Mississippi River in Illinois, a crucial route for westward expansion, as well as being used as a major commercial waterway for trade such as coal, petroleum, and steel. Famous presidents. Known as the Mother of Presidents, Ohio has birthed 7 U.S. presidents, with Ulysses S. Grant, Rutherford B. Hayes, James A. Garfield, Benjamin Harrison, William McKinley, William Howard Taft, and Warren G. Harding, all being born in Ohio. The Ohio State University. Founded in 1870 under the name Ohio Agricultural and Mechanical College, one of the largest in the U.S., with an enrollment exceeding 60,000 students. Major athletic programs such as the Buckeye football team, as well as educational facilities such as the Wexner Medical Center. Ohio State's influence spreads far beyond Ohio. The Buckeye Tree. The state tree of Ohio, growing up to 50 feet tall, growing Buckeyes, the Buckeyes became a massive symbol of Ohio, referring to Ohioans as Buckeyes. Below the surface. The Great Serpent. The Great Serpent Mound is a prehistoric effigy in Adams County, Ohio. One of the most famous effigy mounds in North America, it spreads up to 1,348 feet long, built around the year 1000 CE. While the purpose of this mound is unknown, mainly theories believe it to be part of a North American astronomy. The Wright brothers. The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, were born in Dayton, Ohio, running a successful bicycle sales and repair shop, eventually helping them learn many engineering ideas, creating their aviation experiments, with many ideas with gliders. The first powered flight would occur on December 17, 1903, in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, flying for 12 seconds, going 120 feet, creating the first successful motor-operated airplane. Cincinnati's Underground Railroad. Cincinnati during the Underground Railroad was one of the most influential cities, with its location on the Ohio River. It was a crucial crossing point. Safe houses would be formed, routes and methods would be created, and the Freedom Center in Cincinnati would showcase a center for abolitionist activity to this very day. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a museum and institution that celebrates the cultural impact of rock and roll music. Made in 1983, the rich history of Cleveland rock and roll past would allow for it to open to the public in 1995, right on the shore of Lake Erie. New members make it each year, notable members such as Elvis Presley, the Beatles, and many more. Marietta, Ohio's first permanent settlement. Founded on April 7, 1788, pioneers would be led by General Rufus Putnam, located at the Ohio and Muskingum Rivers. In honor of Marie Antoinette, it was the first permanent American settlement in the Northwest Territory, creating a gateway for the expansion west. The Ohio State Reformatory. Also known as the Mansfield Reformatory, it was opened in 1896 by architect Levi T. Schofield, showing off Victorian Gothic styles. Built to reform young first-time offenders, the prison would house more and more inmates, creating harsh conditions. It would be closed in 1990 due to the inhumane living conditions. In 1994, one of the greatest films of all time, The Shawshank Redemption, would be filmed at this location. Open up to the public for tours, ghost hunts, and many haunted sightings. The Deep Waters. The Toledo War. I already made a video about this topic, but to sum it up, the Michigan-Ohio War, also known as, would be a boundary dispute between Ohio and Michigan territory over the Toledo Strip, eventually seeing Ohio win, gaining Toledo, while Michigan also won, gaining the Upper Peninsula. The Kent State Shootings. The Kent State shootings would occur on May 4, 1970 at Kent State University. The context was over national unrest over the Vietnam War, with students beginning to protest on May 1st and 2nd, leading to the ROTC building being set on fire. The Ohio National Guard would be sent over, and during a crowd of 2,000 students, National Guardsmen would throw tear gas, beginning to fire into the crowd. 4 students would be killed after 67 shots, while 9 other students wounded. Nationwide student strikes would occur, deepening the nation's divide even more. Now shown heavily at Kent State as a commemoration, this incident would be showcased across the nation to this very day. The Zanesville Y Bridge. An extremely unique and historic structure in Zanesville, Ohio, it is one of the only bridges in the world with a Y configuration. Constructed in 1814, it would be constantly be destroyed by it and rebuilt, eventually seeing the 5th iteration completed in 1984, being showcased to this day as an engineering landmark. The Great Dayton Flood of 1913. The Great Dayton Flood of 1913 was a catastrophic event that was caused due to several days of heavy rainfall in March of 1913. The Great Miami River, which flowed through Dayton, would be overflown, with the levees in the city failing, reaching water depths of up to 20 feet in some areas. 20,000 homes would be destroyed, with over 360 people passing away. The Great Dayton Flood to this day is considered one of the most significant natural disasters in Ohio history. The Ohio Company. The Ohio Company would be founded in 1786 by groups of New England veterans, hoping to purchase and settle the land. Led by figures such as Rugus Putman and Massa Cutler, the land they would purchase would see the establishment of the territory of Ohio. The Dark Depths. The Circleville Letters. A mysterious and unsettling case involving a group of anonymous letters sent to the residents of Circleville, Ohio. Lasting from 1970 to 1980, they would begin with Mary Gillespie, a school bus driver, accusing her of having an affair. The letters would contain many personal details, threatening their lives with threats of violence and secrets. The letters would spread, going to Mary's husband, who would eventually die mysteriously. Mary would discover a booby trap being traced back to Paul Freshaw, Mary's brother-in-law. Freshaw, after serving 10 years in prison, would be let out, and the origins of the Circleville letters to this day are still unknown. Melonheads. The Melonheads are a set of a broader myth found throughout the United States, with Kirtland and Lake County, Ohio seeing the myth arrive there. A group of small, humanoid creatures, they are said to inhabit wooded areas. Local folklore would spread around, and eventually the legend of the Melonhead would stay forever. The Ohio Penitentiary Fire of 1930. A massive fire occurred in Columbus, Ohio. The fire would occur at Ohio Penitentiary, one of the oldest correctional facilities in the state up to this point. The fire would be ignited thanks to prison inmates, with it spreading heavily throughout the rest of the prison. 322 inmates would be killed, with many inmates being trapped. One of the deadliest fires in Ohio history would spark the movement for better conditions for penitentiaries in Ohio. The Cleveland Torso Murders. The Cleveland Torso Murders would take place in Cleveland, Ohio from 1937 to 1938. The victims would mainly be made up of drifters and homeless people. The perpetrator would decapitate and dismember the victims, with their identities being near impossible to locate. Their locations would be in various locations across the Kingsbury Run area, with the Cleveland Police Department fighting extremely hard. However, the killer to this very day has never been caught. The Satemsville Rectory. Located in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Satemsville Rectory would be renowned for its reputation as a haunted location, garnering attention in the paranormal world. Originally built as a residence for priests, it would eventually lead to many spiritual activities occurring in the region. Ghost sightings would occur over the year, and urban legends would spread throughout. To this very day, the cultural impact is gigantic for the haunted house. The Loveland Castle. The Loveland Castle, also known as the Chateau Lachaux, is a unique structure in Loveland, Ohio. Built only by Harry D. Andrews, a World War I veteran, would be inspired by his experiences in Europe, eventually being motivated by medieval European styles. He would create a great hall, a chapel, a living quarter, and many medieval-based artifacts. To this very day, the castle is open to all, showing a massive beloved landmark and symbol. The Bottom of the Iceberg. The Loveland Frogman. The Loveland Frogman is a cryptid legend associated in Loveland, Ohio. Described as a humanoid creature with frog-like features at 4 feet tall, the legend would begin in 1955 when by local businessmen spotted them in the Little Miami River. Over the years, more and more reports would occur, eventually creating massive folklore for the Loveland Frogman. The Cincinnati Subway. The Cincinnati Subway was once a massively ambitious subway system project in Cincinnati, which would eventually be abandoned. The planning would begin in the 1910s due to the city's massive boom in population and industry, but would eventually face numerous challenges, mainly with engineering complications. Construction would be extremely slow, and eventually the subway system would be abandoned, with the tunnel still open to this very day. The Ghost Town of Moonville. The ghost town of Moonville, located in southeastern Ohio, would be a small coal mining community, thriving in the 19th and 20th centuries. Eventually, the coal mines would begin to collapse greatly, with the last residents leaving in the early 1940s, seeing the entire abandonment of the town. The Moonville Tunnel, a former railroad tunnel, is said to be haunted, located in the city. The Great Black Swamp. The Great Black Swamp was once a massive swamp covering 1,500 square miles in northwest Ohio, primarily in the Maumee and Portage rivers. The swamp would be formed during the last ice age, with a rich ecosystem being formed all around. Eventually, efforts to drain the swamp would occur, with more and more agricultural development forming the lands into fertile farmland. The Mothman of Gallipolis. The Mothman legend of Gallipolis, Ohio would begin in Point Pleasant, West Virginia in the 1960s, featuring a large humanoid figure with large wings and red eyes, with sightings occurring in Gallipolis, Ohio along the Ohio River. Similar to the more popular Mothman, connections would be formed in an incident where the Silver Bridge Point in Point Pleasant saw many sightings of the Mothman before the bridge collapsed, killing 46 people. The Maneuver Monster. Lastly, we have the Maneuver Monster, a cryptid creature seen in Maneuver, Ohio, gaining attention in 1978 when several residents claimed to see a larger hairy beast like Bigfoot, as tall as 7 feet. The sightings would be investigated by law officials, with many reports beginning. The Maneuver Monster, while talked about in many books, documentaries, and cryptozoological communities, to this very day is still unknown. That is it for my first long project video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I steered away a little bit from historical significance here and more have talked about creative stuff. While this will be not my first iceberg video, I hope to extend this greatly broadly across the entire world. Thank you for watching.